Now I want to begin with a few points on the play-by-play list before I come and tell you my main points. The first bout of UFC 101 was Jesse Lennox versus Danilo Villafort, and I was of course supporting Jesse Lennox, and he won. It was to do with a cut that was caused by an accidental headbutt. Apparently Villafort went for an armbar, and at that point the cut occurred, and then after the armbar was escaped from, the fight was stopped due to that. Lennox has actually been quoted here as saying that he thought it was a disappointing win, but I'm still glad he got it. George Sotiropoulos, he won as well. He won in the second round. That was an arm lock that he won by against George Roop. So again, that's another one that I chose. Dan Kramer and Matt Riddle went all the way to decision, and it went to Matt Riddle. I think I thought it would go decision Kramer, but I can't quite remember on that one. Charles Lights and Alessio Sakara. Alessio Sakara got the split decision win. I think I might have gone for Lights there, but I'm not too disappointed in that. Quite disappointed that Tamden McCrory lost his bout by split decision to John Howard there. Kendall Grove and Ricardo Almeida. That went to decision as well for Almeida there. Unfortunately, Kendall Grove, I think, well, yeah. Shane Nelson versus Aaron Riley, that was the rematch, and Aaron Riley won by decision. That was quite a good one, that one. Quite a good one. The other three, these are the four that I want to talk about. The first one is Josh Neer versus Kurt Pellagrino, and I think I can sit down here for this one. Now, our moderator, Psycho Jojo, who's friends with Kurt Pellagrino, was in the crowd for that one. Josh Neer, former MFS affiliate, now I think he's at Des Moines in Iowa, but I could be wrong. He came in, he's very, very experienced. He's the sort of person who, when it gets to the ground, whether he's on his front or his back, is always looking for decisions rather than, always looking for submissions, rather than just sort of standing there and doing absolutely nothing, or lying there doing absolutely nothing. So, it went, I believe, to a decision in the end. And so for 15 minutes, most of the time was spent by Pellagrino having to constantly defend from these submission attempts, which he did very, very well. And he stopped his opponent, Josh Neer, from actually getting very far in doing that. He was also very, very good at the takedown. So he won that way, and I'm quite pleased. Actually, I'm quite pleased at that. And I'm hopefully Psycho Jojo is pleased with that as well. It was also on the card the long-awaited return of Amir Stoller, who is Sucker Punch Entertainment, as it happens. And his bout was stopped very, very quickly, and it was basically a referee bungle, complete bungle, by the same ref. I think it's Dan Miraglotta, I just don't agree with anything he does, really. He has a tendency to raise the wrong hand, for example, as a decision or something like that. He has become the new Herb Dean for me. Anyway, he stopped the contest when Amir slipped, and his opponent got all over him, and as he was standing up, got all over him, hitting the back of the head, I might add, and as Amir was getting up, the ref for some reason just stopped it. Even his opponent was not too sure how authentic that win was. A pity, because Amir has been waiting a very long time due to injury to get the chance to fight again, and for it to go like that and to be sort of the butt of a referee's accidental well, lunacy is a little bit unfortunate. So I'm quite sorry that he had to go through that, really. So there we are. Disappointing in that respect. Now the next match was predictable for me. It was Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin. Forrest Griffin didn't do very well. He was stunned a number of times by various stand-up strikes, and eventually he got knocked out in quite a weird fashion. You know, it was one of those things where if you blinked, you missed the punch that finally sort of laid him out. He left the octagon straight away to avoid, I presume, floods of tears like after the Jardine match. I am still not convinced that this shows that Anderson Silva is back on his winning form. The thing about Anderson Silva is that he won't engage anybody who doesn't engage him. He doesn't show the initiative. Now, when Tim Sylvia did this and he was playing it safe, people criticised him. When Anderson Silva does it, it's for some reason all right. I don't agree with that. Whilst I agree that he has legitimised the fast-tracking to the title in the first place, I'm waiting to see if he can defend the title, his title, rather than fighting these sort of one-off matches in another division, with the same amount of gusto and the same performance that he showed last night against Forrest Griffin. He, in the post-fight press conference, ruled out fighting Lyoto Machida because he is his friend and unifying the titles that way. And I'm glad that Dana White actually overruled him and said, look, if it happens, then it happens. I think there's some storms brewing there because Anderson Silva is still pursuing this boxing fight outside of the institution, which is completely wrong. He's still not shown that he is going to engage with people defending his own title, and he won't fight the title holder in the division above for a unification, even though he does much better at that weight. So let's wait and see what happens there. The final match was BJ Penn versus Kenny Florian, and it ended sort of predictably because Kenny Florian got choked out in the fourth even. Interesting things from Penn is that he spent the first 3 rounds trying to pace himself standing up, and then in the fourth, if you watch, he sort of gets a bit tired and takes it to the ground, and that's of course where he finishes. Florian spent most of the first 3 rounds trying to take Penn down. Why, I'm not so sure, and why Penn was resisting that, I'm not so sure either, to be honest. But there we are. I did say that you have to remember, in regards to Kenny Florian, that it took Penn 3 attempts to get the title. So I think it's a little bit harsh for people to say, look, he's old, he's had 2 goes, he'll never win it again. I think Florian still has a chance at that title. It took Penn 3 chances. I think the other thing to remember is that Penn is one of the best pure skills in the world, and if you beat him, it is possible. People have done. Caoluno drew, and stopped him getting the title. Jens Pulver beat him and stopped him getting the title. So it is possible at that weight class. But I think it's a little bit harsh to rule Florian out on that. He did go quite a long way, did do quite well, and you know, perhaps he will come back at some point in the future. Who knows? For now, the reign of darkness continues.